Nope, I just watched the Batman Dark Knight Rises again, and a particular scene blew me off. I think all men need to go and watch that film again. At the beginning, Bane says, "Nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask." And of recent times, right, I've been looking at content that has been talking about how masculinity is basically a mask. How men force themselves to wear a particular mask so that they can become functional men in society. But if you zoom out, right, the men who speak about this mask and how this mask is a burden, because it's a burden of performance, what they don't understand is that mask plays a role. And yes, nobody cares who you are once you put on a mask. The problem is not the fact that there's a mask. I believe that the real problem is the fact that a lot of people are wearing the wrong masks. And for most people who have this idea that, oh, I want a woman to love me for who I am, first of all, I tell them to ask themselves, first of all, who are you? Now, I must say, everybody deserves love. Trust me, everybody deserves love, and everybody needs to be authentic. But in the very end, right, for you to become something else, for you to embody a new identity, you're going to have to put on a mask for a certain period. So, for example, if you listen to athletes, when athletes talk about how they had to talk, work, and act like they were successful athletes already, they had to train like they're successful artists already. That is the mask itself. But the thing now is that these guys who I'm talking about are people who were wearing an intentional mask, right? And they understood the consequences of the mask that they wore. Just like Bane said, nobody cared who he was until he put on the mask. Now he's wearing the mask. All of a sudden, everybody cares. That mask, right, is not just a mask of fake performance. It's a mask of a lot of things. The men who built this world, right, they wore the mask that built the world, that built this comfort we are living in. But all of a sudden, we don't see the need to put on the mask because everything sounds pleasurable. Everything comes to us easy. We basically fought for a world of pleasure, and all of a sudden, slowly, right, it feels like we are descending towards a world of complete chaos. Everyone, or like most guys, yes, it's okay to find a woman like who you can be vulnerable with. I'm not against that. But what I'm against is the idea that we should not we should completely embrace that idea of masculinity, or we should not allow people to have the mask, because most of the time, most of these things are mostly propagandas, right? And I feel like masculinity has a major threat, which we did not see, which I'll say, okay, I won't say which we did not estimate, right? Because it is not a masculine thing to do some things, but those things that we don't do, they actually cause problems for our generations. So, for example, the stories we tell to our younger ones about us influences how they see us. But the question now is, if we can take the us away and swap the storytellers, the younger ones are going to believe lies automatically. They are going to act and defend those lies like they were the truth. So, for example, if you zoom out and look at the new Superman, and look at the Superman a couple of years back, it will dawn on you that these guys are actually playing with us. This new Superman feels like somebody I can beat. I'm sorry, but that's what it feels like. And when I zoom out, it's because we have allowed the story of masculinity be told by people who want to damage the identity of masculinity. And because these ideas in itself, right, they are ideas that promote comfort. Nobody is going to reject comfort. People would barely sit down and willingly push away comfort. Who would do that? So these guys, and I think all of these things I believe is pushed by, I really don't know who's pushing it. But if you notice, there's a push towards global control. Well, you cannot control the world without controlling the men. And you cannot control the men without making them weak. So whenever I hear concepts like toxic masculinity, the mask of masculinity, I keep wondering. So now I'm a firm believer of somebody who does not believe in good or bad. I believe in every single thing plays a role. And if you zoom out and look at what's happening around the world, you get to realize that we're heading towards a decline. We have people who refuse to wear that mask. But all of a sudden, you can go to bed because you are comfortable. And you're comfortable because that position you are of comfort was built by people who wore the mask. If you can sleep, you probably have special forces guys outside protecting you. And what are they wearing? Masks. Actual masks, sorry, but you get the point. So that means it's not that the mask is a problem. It's that some people wear the wrong masks, right? And then again, they wear the wrong mask, and that mask does not work in their favor. One, two, a lot of guys want to be vulnerable, well, I feel like it depends on the role you want to play in life, right? The people who can choose to be vulnerable, in my opinion, are people who don't see themselves being held in positions of, shall I say, authority. Imagine your president being very vulnerable. Just imagine that. Imagine from the book of the Bible, Solomon was very vulnerable. How well did it work out for him? You're speaking of being vulnerable. So I feel that if you're going to be vulnerable, you should get to realize that there are consequences. I remember there's a particular king of UK who has to step down because he was getting married to a divorcee. And that's because the people who basically were in the system understood that position of being the king comes with a burden. And that burden can't be tainted with that kind of image. Because there are rules to so many things. The lion in the jungle is different from the lion in the zoo. But there's a reason they prefer the lion in the wild, not the one in the zoo. The one in the zoo is just there, he's quiet. He would only eat when they probably throw a goat in him. I saw a video of a lion who they threw a goat into its cage, and the goat was basically pushing the lion until the lion just took over the goat and ate it for lunch. But when you see the lions in the zoo, you can tell that there's something interesting about that lion. That lion has to wear a mask. So wearing the mask is a choice, right? It's a choice. I'm telling you that you can enjoy the comfort and not wear the mask. But don't be surprised what life throws at you. There are consequences of everything. And if you're somebody who feels like you have to wear a mask, which I personally believe you should also go for a mask that is true to you, that's authentic to you. Like I said, you want when it comes to defending the country, you want people who will not just wear a hypothetical mask, they're going to wear a real mask. Ski mask. When it comes to protecting you, when it comes to making decisions that influence the life of over 1 billion people, you want people that are there who are at the edge of that. And those people that go to the edge or that get to the edge are not people who I would say are vulnerable. These are people who wear the mask. They understand the mask, they understand the role that they play, and they don't fight, they don't struggle. They hold it dearly. So whenever you see a post, right, about how you should put down the mask, and trust me, I feel like I said, there are consequences to everything, right? If you actually zoom out and look at things from a holistic view, it will give you an idea of what you want. Do you want to be weak? Do you want to be strong? Do you want to wear a mask? Do you not want to wear a mask? Do you want to be the toughest in the room? Do you want to be this soft person that people won't talk about? If you notice, I have not tried to look down on any of them. I'm only telling you that everyone plays a role. And over and over again, I get to say this particular thing gets to hit me hard because the more I see men who keep talking about being soft, being loved unconditionally, I kept quiet. I said that, well, that's your mother. Your sister won't even love you unconditionally. Your girlfriend wouldn't love you unconditionally. If the girl you're talking to was ugly, would you even like her in the first place? You see, that's how the first process today that human beings have gone far away from reality, away from nature. Nature built us to be capable of love, but did not build us for love. I mean, it built us for compassion, quite alright. When I say love, I'm referring to this form of attachment. And people feel like, okay, I love you, right? So I love you, we should be together. I love you, I am the best for you. But in reality, if you love somebody, you want what is best for them, not what is best for you with them. So I feel like as human beings have gone away from our nature, you should get to sit down in life and then take a step back and look at things carefully. That how did we get this far, right? What did we do to land ourselves in this situation? So that's it basically. I just felt like talking about this because I've been seeing this thing over and over again where people sit down and talk about how masculinity is a mask and that mask needs to be put down. Like I always say, you yourself, you need to be in touch with your dark side, and There's not a single soul who will get to the top in his life, in any peak performance, who did not use his dark side to get there. So it's not about whether the dark side is good or not. It's about what role does the dark side play? What role does the mask play? I think it's I can't remember the psychologist. Either it's Nishi or Carl Jung that spoke about how if you cannot integrate your negative side, then I'm sorry, you can never reach your full potential. And that's reality. Look back at history, look at the people who have led the greatest countries, and look at how the kind of decisions they had to make. Those are not choices that you make with what? With being soft. So thank you very much. I just had to like pour out my ideas behind because it's been bugging me. I've been seeing a lot of tweets recently, and I don't know whether it's my X algorithm or maybe it's the time of the day I come online, but I felt like just saying this. So thank you very much. Can you share my video with someone who you know, right? Who understands this idea that we need men, and we need men to wear the mask. Not wear a mask of wearing it for the sake of putting it down, but wearing a mask that is intentional, wearing a mask that is a mask of purpose. You know why you're wearing that mask, and you're playing your role. You're playing your possible best in evolution with that mask. And then we can make the world a better place. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. And bye for now.